The number one priority of every government is the safety of life and property of its citizens. This is stated in Section 14, subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution. But for years now, several parts of the country have become killing fields. Kidnapping has now become one of the most lucrative business in the country, with bandits running riot in states like Zamfara, Niger, Kaduna, Katsina, Benue, and more. This unfortunate development is what propelled the Zamfara State Governor, Matawalle's directive to his people to acquire guns for self-defense against bandits. But the big question is, what does the law say about ownership of guns in Nigeria? We are joined this morning by a senior advocate of Nigeria, Professor Paul Ananaba. Thank you so much, Ananaba, for joining us this morning on the conversation.
Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Guns and individuals, what does the law say?
Well, guns are not natural things that individuals possess and hold. When you start looking for guns, you'll be thinking in some type of direction. Security and safety would have taken full swing. So, because guns are capable of making the human being no longer to be a human being, to be something else, not to be alive. And it can be destructive. If you look at countries where guns have been used, you will see. So the law begins to think about regulating guns. You know, and can be described much more as firearms. So the law regulates it so that it is used sensibly. Firearms can be very useful when you are in situations of danger, attack, not necessarily by human beings, but even by animals. So guns are regulated. And in Nigeria, there is a law called the Firearms Act that regulates what type of gun, how do you use it, when can you use it, can you even actually use it. So just as the intro came, when you now talk about security and safety of Nigerians, then you cannot discuss it without firearms. And it has to be regulated firearms. Just as I drop this point, look at countries that there's some degree of allowance to use firearms, so you can buy and can use. It is on the front burner in the US today, virtually every week. Even students go to buy these firearms, get to school, kill the fellow students, kill their teachers, sometimes kill themselves. Somebody gets some degree of frenzy, he takes firearms, goes to a shopping mall, and kills as many as he can. And the problem with this firearm is that when it is working, it is working. It doesn't discriminate the bullets. It kills, even if the president is there, it will kill the president. Even if the commissioner of police is there, it will kill.
They killed the president. They killed Lincoln.
So you see that.
And killed Kennedy.
Yeah, exactly. So you understand that even in the most advanced societies, guns are regulated.
So, Prof, is that why this particular directive by the Zamfara state government is very controversial? The fact that some experts have warned that it may lead to, it's an invitation to anarchy. Some say it may lead to a high number of extrajudicial killings.
All right, let's look at it. Let's even say, for the purpose of discussion, that the governor is acting as a governor. I mean, protection of life and property. In any case, you'll be making a case of, listen, I wake up every morning, citizens of my state are dying. And really, it can be very emotional. that you watch your family members being killed, your wife being raped, or your children while you are there. And you are told that the police, the army, the armed forces are there to protect you. And you do nothing. That is one side of this discussion. And so perhaps the governor will say, don't just stay there and say you do nothing. Do something. Grab a cutlass or a gun. Or better still, I think what the governor was saying is, cutlass cannot fight in the face of guns. So get a gun and be ready. If everybody has gun in Zamfara state, then it will be balance of terror. And it will be better.
Equality of violence.
Exactly, balance of terror. I think that's what the governor tried to do. Is it controversial? Yes. Why is it controversial? I come from local training. I was trained in the village, so some of the things we learned in those villages, we go about with them. We were told in the village that if you go and give a monkey banana, it is easy to give the banana. But we're also told that to retrieve that banana, it's not the same process. That is where the issue is. And that is the underlying philosophy of law. Why the law says, no, we will do a whole 42-section legislation called the Firearms Act. Let's regulate this thing. No. If we don't regulate it, the consequences may be very grave. Should the governor make such an announcement? I think we'll discuss it.
If a governor makes such an announcement when he is regarded to be a titular head of a state, and the instructions for matters like that come from the center, what does that tell us about the meaningfulness of law in this matter?
Let's go further into this discussion. You will see that it tells about who do we elect. What is the whole essence of election and choice of candidates? So we should, because the head, you're having a headache, you cut off your head. Is that what we're talking about? Is that the only way to ensure security and safety? When everybody now is having a gun. And this statement, if it was not a governor that made the statement, what would have happened by now?
They will have arrested the person.
So.
Perhaps they will say the person is inciting people to violence. They probably would have.
It's even treason.
It's treason.
So if the governor says it, it is not an offense.
Yes, because it's the governor. It's not that. Nixon once said, when Nixon was president, he once said, if the president says a thing or does it, it is legal because the president said it. That's what Nixon said in the US. So he is saying that as the chief law officer of the state, I have the right to say it because I am the chief law officer of the state.
Are we
now
also,
deal with it.
Are we also supposed to emulate our leaders?
Are we?
Yes. Are we not supposed
Are we not?
So
they are our leaders, by definition.
Can three of us now emulate this, our governor, and also go
I'm
ahead?
not a citizen of Zamfara, but as I've said,
no,
before,
I'm just saying.
Yes.
We are
about whether emulating the governor or not.
We as Zamfara people now, as we're discussing, we're all Nigerians.
Yeah.
All right.
So we are talking about Zamfara. In the event that we take it that we are Zamfara citizens.
Yes.
So can we also, our governor said it, we tell our family members, Go and get your gun.
Exactly.
So some states have already reacted to this. Ogun State, Ekiti State, and Abia State governments have reacted to this position by the Zamfara State government. The Imo State Governor, Hope Uzodinma, has played down on allowing such a directive in Imo State. You are from the southeast region,
Yes.
Prof. I wonder if you think that this directive should also be given in the southeast as well. Southeast has not seen peace for quite some time now.
Yes, my brother. You see, that's why I came from. Let's even look at why that can even be said. You and I are here. I have seen that there has been. Let's tell ourselves the truth. The armed forces are doing their best. The federal government say they are doing their best, but you know that we have lost count of people killed in this country. We have lost count. In fact, the popular language is once every day you see it, condemnation of the killing. The government and the armed forces are on top of it. And of course, when you hear that the government is on top of it, you know that that one is over. You will hear that the perpetrators will be brought to book. How many perpetrators have been brought to book? You see, the psychological content of law, the bindingness of law, what the Scandinavian realist jurisprudence talks about law. The reason why you and I will not go and kill or use violence is because you know that the law will do something. But when the law does nothing, when something is done, then it gives concern. It breeds. That's why you see the rise of militancy. That people are not, we do it and get away with it. And making this statement close to elections, national elections, gives cause for concern. I was just taking you to precedent that perhaps I thought would have been more relevant. In the West here, there's a Moteku. Governors come together, not just one state governor. States come together and say, listen, we can help the federal government. After all, security is local. If you have all the missiles in the world, it may not guarantee security without the indigenes telling you,
this is where to go.
This is where to go. This is this and that. So if that is the direction, wouldn't the states of the Northwest have better come up so that it is shared? It is not a localized thing alone. There's local, because you cannot even secure Zamfara without KB, Sokoto, and other adjoining states.
Kaduna.
And Kaduna and all that. So why didn't we hear about that type of arrangement? Why didn't we hear about something close to Ibubago? Ibubago may not have done the best in the East, but at least that is the way to even start. And not only, it's not the only governor that's called for.
It's not the first.
It's not the first and not the only one. But
even the Minister of Defense has done.
Yes. So because those calls, and gradually it will become a norm if we don't begin to say, no, that's not the way to go.
But the question is, how do we continue to say yes when yes still creates a situation where the bandit comes to your door and with his gun, it comes with takes your wife and your children away.
Sophisticated weapons.
Yes. So what do you do?
Yeah, it may even,
Yes has been useless.
Yes,
so baby no is where we are supposed
that's
to
the
go.
point. It may even be, and the government is not doing it best for us by saying, oh, the bandits have been decimated. We've had that for more than, even before the current presidency came in.
Yes.
We've been hearing that. They are being decimated, yet they are getting, more people are being killed continuously. And the thing has become, in fact, virtually, except for maybe Lagos State, that you can look at and say yes, virtually all the states are affected by one form of violence
Or the other.
or the other.
Yet we had a situation where Amotekun was able to arrest those who created the mayhem in our war. But they have no arms. They had no arms who did it. The people who had the arms, the police, the soldiers, and even the SSS, were nowhere to be found. Amotekun that had no arms were the ones able to do this. What does that tell us about guns?
That's the point. That's the point I was making. I said
Yeah.
that would have been, that is the way to go. You can see that with Amotekun, no laboratory, no guns, they can get it because they know who is new in the community. They can find out. And the people have confidence. Now, that brings up the whole idea of regional state police. Because if we have that kind of arrangement, there is trust and confidence. I would say, no, you can't come to our community and do this. But what about when the commissioner of police is from Borno State? He has only come to serve. Beyond service.
He probably has not come to serve, he has come to be served.
Beyond service, he does not have affinity.
Local knowledge.
Local knowledge. I like that. I used to see it in a particular airport, international airport. He says, don't underestimate the value of local knowledge.
Very important.
Don't underestimate the value of local knowledge.
When I was teaching in the US, the university had its own police.
So, Prof, I wonder why is it taking the federal government forever to accept the inability of this regional security outfit, the issue of state policing, when we know that with the establishment of regional security outfits, if they're empowered, if they are made to carry arms and all of that, probably the achievements would be better. Why is it taking the government forever to accept?
It will continue to take more than forever. There were people who were our heroes past. Let me use the language of our national symbol.
Yeah.
They came together and said, listen, the British allow us to govern ourselves. And they held conferences and looked at it and said, the best way for us to govern ourselves is by regionalism. And by that regionalism, there was no crude oil. There was all the good things we have today and we are not there.
But we had some good things. We had groundnut, we had palm produce, we had
know,
all of that.
They were
very good things.
Raw things.
Raw,
unprocessed. That's where I'm going. With a little palm oil and even the palm oil we got, Malaysia then came and took.
They lent it and they beat us.
We are not importing from them.
Yeah.
They were able to build UI, OAU, so many things.
Cocoa,
groundnut, things we were actually developing. Now we came first from the military and said, no, it has to be centralized. One central authority with immediate effect. We nationalize this, we do this, we do this. All those disruptions. We made an attempt again to go back to it to save 6 geopolitical zones. What do you need 36 states for? The likely governance structure you copied, the American democracy.
yes.
We didn't even copy it totally. We have a mixture of You know,
British and
when,
Westminster and American.
When people analyze and say, "Oh, we are doing American Democrats," I just laugh. It's not true.
It's not true.
It's not true. We have
it's a hybrid. It's a hybrid. Yeah.
Allow that hybrid to grow so that other countries of the world will find it interesting and copy. We are not. Anyone we gain from, we throw away. Take option A4 in elections. By today, if we had moved on with it, we would have come up with an electoral philosophy from Nigeria to export to the world and would have stuck to it. That is gone. Now, what I was trying to talk about, regionalism. If we had that regionalism, there were regional police then. You can go around this country anytime then. But you can't do that now. Let me tell you why. Take a state, take the Southwest. There are about 6 states or thereabout. They have 6 governors, 6 commissioners for education, 6 commissioners for health. Do you need that? If you save the money of 5 governors, the expense of the expense, 5 ministries, you can, if you want to build health institutions, it will be mega.
Prof, let me take you up on the fact that the Zamfara state government says it's trying to dialogue with the federal government and the Inspector General of Police. I wonder what you think the takeaways would be about this particular meeting. I mean, this was about 3 or 4 days ago. Yet to hear any...
that dialogue ought to have been done before the announcement. You know, this is a political era. It's not always very good to do campaign after elections. Campaigns are better before election now. You have already shot the bullet. Go and take guns. Let me ask a question.
But you know what he has done in the background? He has probably done a lot of work in the background. Nobody was paying attention.
But
he wants to do like the public desperado, banging his shoes to gain attention.
But he did not tell us, I have done this by the background. He says, I will now do.
Yes.
So we judge from what we heard.
I know.
Now, if this dialogue is not going to be, why? We've been in the toilet for 6 days. The 7th day wouldn't have been that significant. So that I would have commended a situation where there was, he declares some form of state of emergency or some form of summit on security in Zamfara. And who other governors around?
Summit. Summits have not been able to do anything in this country. But the point is that people believe that the security know where all of these people are hiding.
They do.
They know where they are. They've caught people who have been carrying comfort women to them. They've caught people who have been supplying food to them. But why don't you just follow the trail? In the case of Osama bin Laden, they caught people who were taking letters to his house and back. They traced them, and then they went there and knocked him out. And these people are under our nose. So they're saying that the government knows where they are. The governor even knows that Gumi can follow them there. Now Gumi goes there and meets them. So they know where they are. They do nothing about it. So that's why the guy says, well, if they can't do anything about it, we can do something about ourselves.
That is where there's a total commitment to achieving a purpose. You know, we have a situation where we play more to the gallery. The governor that is saying, arm yourself. Is the governor also saying he has no idea of where the people are?
Well, he has no powers to say, police, go there. Army, go there. The people who have the power to say so are not doing anything.
Why wouldn't he now have said, these people are in this place, this place, this place, this place. Nigerians are, please help join me in telling federal government to go there. This is where they are. This is the statistics.
But you don't go to what telling everybody that I'm coming. You use subterfuge in war.
No, that's what I'm saying. That
Yeah,
those are those
you must have told them.
Those are these discussions he's talking about that will be held. They ought to have been held. And I'm talking seriously. I think that our governors, our leaders, should take security very seriously. You cannot, when you leave your house, again maybe for FCT and Lagos, when you leave your house, until you come back, nobody will be sure. Bizarre things are happening. And as these things are worsening, it's affecting the economy. Even those who feel, well, it doesn't concern us, except if you and your children will continue to hang in the air, you'll never come home.
You leave in the morning and you are not sure. No, there's this Shoinka's poem. Say, we shall set forth at dawn. I wish you marvels of the holy hour.
Yes.
But there's no holy hour anymore in Nigeria.
Nothing.
Prof, let me take you up again. Earlier, you commended the security agencies, even though it was a bit of an irony how you had put it. But do you subscribe to the argument that our security agencies are distracted? They have been overwhelmed by the situation around most parts of the country.
One, some degree of research needs to be done. And that research, I've never seen it published anywhere. What is some degree of, how many policemen do we have? Do we actually know? If you go to, when it gets to police pension and all that, you begin to hear different figures. I hope you are aware of a language that is used by many Nigerians, particularly officially. You know the word?
Which one?
About.
Yes, of course. That's an about face to the figures.
I wish you just take time after today and watch that word about. It's the most popular official language tonight. How many Nigerians are there? About 200 million.
It's about turn.
How many policemen do we have? About. How many? So you don't even have the population of the country. We can no longer say clearly, this is the ratio of Nigerians to security agencies. You can't say so. You cannot now, there's no statistical basis to say whether they're overwhelmed or not. So until we bury about, it will not be possible to properly answer that question. But from what we see, the machinery of evil, in terms of kidnapping and all that that are going on, have continued. In some states, like Niger State, few miles to the FCT, the governor once said, the people are having their flags in many of my local governments. And nothing, I'm sure it is still this position till today. You get a modern railway line. You tell Nigerians, this is safe. Now, this is the only way to go to Kaduna. I'm not sure we have recovered all the people that were taken away from the
No, we have not.
I'm just saying.
We still have about so number of people there.
And
About 50.
life goes on. That's my concern. In many countries of this world, where there is some serious concern for human life and property, as Section 14 of the Constitution talks about, one single Nigerian cannot be in a dungeon and things will be normal.
Now,
let me drop it.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you followed a story some years back of some Chile miners.
Yes.
In Chile.
In Chile.
I'm not talking about USA.
I know.
I'm talking about Chile. Trapped in the mine.
Mine, yeah. The whole world was
awake until the last miner was rescued. If that effort is being made, if that's any form of parameter, we won't be where we are. Thank you.
Exactly. Now, money seems to have failed. There's a place in the Bible that says money failed. Money seems to have failed. Law has failed. Executive order has failed. What is left?
Yeah, but the governor enacted a law 2 days ago.
Arms also have failed.
Exactly. The governor enacted a law 2 days ago. When law ignores culture, law becomes paper.
Yeah. Culture is more important than law.
When law ignores culture,
Yes.
that law becomes a paper.
Is that where we are now?
Well, that's a matter for another day.
Because culture is more important
Professor,
than anything.
well,
I mean, I give you a typical
Prof,
example.
I understand we have to go now. Maybe you can conclude on that in 10 seconds.
I'll give you an example.
All right.
Go through Ojota. You will see two magnificent footbridges.
All right.
Yes.
Those footbridges are there. People are still crossing the road and dying.
All the time.
All right.
There was a
Professor
major
Paul
world magazine
Ananaba,
that highlighted
that's a
it
good place to
in
anchor our
Nigeria.
conversation with you. Hopefully we'll get to speak with you again subsequently. Thank you so much, Professor Ananaba,
Thank you.
Senior
Thank you.
Advocate of Nigeria.
Thank you.